ZeeBee starting off with the Edolus.
Okay.
All right. And of course, OoDa on their tried and true, their player in. And they're good to go. And they are going to be going into that counter pick into the stage selection right off the bat. Edolus Clarin, how do you feel?
So, a very interesting choice to be sure. I do think out of the pool of characters that ZeeBee could have brought to the table, I think this is the best one to start with. And the reason why I put that emphasis is because we've already seen a handful of the characters that ZeeBee plays. And in fact, you alluded to this Edolus during Grand's doubles. So, it's now getting a chance to shine. But also, it leaves on the table the option for the Clarin Ditto to happen at some point. Clarin Mirror Match can lend itself to a very interesting way of play because there's two completely different styles of Clarin.
That's always going to be ZeeBee's biggest strength, his silver bullet, is the ability to change styles so quickly. Though, while the medium of which that is presented can change very drastically, a lot of times you figure that ZeeBee wants to try and establish pressure. He wants to try and go forward and make a game plan happen rather than try and play a strict, more fundamental neutral.
Right. A very proactive player in his own right. Although I think, at the very least for this game one, on the first stock set, OoDa himself has been playing Zeb very well.
Yeah.
And you have a very more even tempo, I think would be a way to say it for OoDa. And I always bring up how he clutches out stats, and I feel like that's just because he's a very consistent player from an interaction to interaction basis.
Yeah. He knows when to flip that switch so reliably from pressure on platforms with up tilts and back airs and all of this stuff to how we saw him take the first stock, which was with a lot of extra patience and waiting for the aggression that would come from ZeeBee. At this point, though, ZeeBee finding the initialization is forcing just consistent buttons. That is how you can get Clarin even more as, how you can get a lot of characters as Edolus, just forcing them to deal with the icicles from up top. If you can't parry them, they're a real hassle to deal with. But finding the pixel to stand on is OoDa. Great placement in order to avoid the ice. Yet you are so far behind.
Ooh, the trade, that's with Edolus forward air. You can't really trade with that one, no.
Oh, no! Misses the down air. That's a little bit tragic. You do still find the grab in this combo. Lamau Edolus.
Nice spare moment.
Yeah. Sometimes it'd be like that.
I do like that OoDa isn't trying to get too frisky off stage with these higher recoveries. Although, I do feel like you might have to consider risking it moving along. Because that seemed like a very comfortable game one for ZeeBee.
Yeah. As we've seen, like, he plays the character himself. And he's one of those players that you see so many of these different characters and so many of these different styles, or his mediums rather, that it's all for his own understanding at the end of the day as well. So when he plays against one of the best Clarins in the world, it's like, oh, but I know what this character wants, and I know how to augment my gameplay so I can keep playing how I want without giving you what you want.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of the strongest benefits of playing multiple characters at a very competent level that always gets talked about, but you never really get to see in practice, or at least when you do, it's in very bite-sized pieces. Here, you get a chance to really see like how well ZeeBee understands where OoDa wants to move, because he has such a firm understanding of what a Clarin would do in this situation.
The hunt for these up airs continues to be found. ZeeBee pouring on the jets as soon as he finds one hit. Clarin's disadvantage not necessarily the greatest, and it continues to show as Edolus pushes harder, and ZeeBee needs to find their way back on stage here, protected by the no fun zone, and that'll at least allow OoDa to close out this stock, keeping things extremely even. Not going to let ZeeBee start to snowball, as we saw many other players do in many other game states.
And a situation like that is exactly where like the more reserved play of OoDa is something very appreciated. Because where someone may have gotten a little bit more risky with that edge guard, you stay very firmly planted to within the no fun zone, trying not to leave the platform, and it worked out beautifully.
This is a ton of damage as well, but the armor on the forward air is so nice. Triggering another counter. It's a lot of the... Okay.
You just go and do it. Sometimes you just do it. And that's okay.
There's a word we've been throwing around a lot with like different tempos and different like paces at which you can play the game. And ZeeBee just perfectly finding off tempo with the most raw option you can.
Yeah, and it's a great way to play. It's a very difficult way to play.
Oh, hello.
You just do that. That's case in point. Like, you could just throw out haymaker options. But, like, if you aren't really accounting for that being a core aspect of how you want to play the game, it will just come off as random. It'll just come off as reckless. It doesn't appear that way with ZeeBee in a 1v1 situation, I would say, because you have someone who sees, like, the tempo of the game and doesn't look to change it to their own accord. They look to just throw it off completely.
And it's a way you can structure it. Like being offbeat. Like you know, how do I make a metaphor out of this? You know, it's the
You're talking to the wrong guy. I do not know enough about music to use proper terminology off this one. This is as far as I go.
It's like the it's like, you know, when you listen to something from an orchestra, like it's very like everything is uniform. ZeeBee is a master of funk. He's trying to be off. It's trying to be different. Make unique sounds for the sake of being unique. And
he makes it work.
And he makes it work. People love it.
Like, for some players, it looks like a flash of genius, but for someone like ZeeBee, like, that's the status quo. And it's one where you can't really go into the set knowing that he's going to be just a little spicy. Because, like, you can't account for that. He can't account for that.
I mean, consider what we're looking at right now here, Hangman. Like, you won 2 games in pretty solid fashion with Edolix. Guess I'll switch to Crag.
Yeah. It's just not working out.
Yeah.
Big asterisk around.
Yeah, just not feeling it. What? That's
I do really enjoy watching ZeeBee's Crag, though, so
yeah, that's fine.
I'll never shy away from an opportunity to watch some more of it, even if it doesn't quite make sense. But hey, it's working.
Finding different setups, rock on a rock. There it is.
It's just, you make the pillar a little bit taller so that you just have to respect firing pressure at the ledge a little bit less.
And with,
it's not enough to win. Your opponent must lose.
So with the just weird interaction of, since the rock was on the pillar sank. Unlike if, like right now, if there's nothing on the pillar doesn't sink. So, like, just why are we setting that up? Who knows? OoDa making sure the setup does end in a stock and
he really just went
baited
that too.
baited.
Not again.
Why? I don't.
Okay, but I want to see it a 3rd time for the culture.
Oh boy, I love glaring down air. Like,
the slowest wall jump to forward air ever seen.
Okay, ZeeBee has the pillar trying to turn this into a reversal. And we're back on stage. Everyone's fine.
Nothing abnormal happened.
Nothing is wrong. Oh, great parry on the down toss of the rock. The tech off of it, though. Yep. Getting the OoDa wanted to space out the sweet spot. And in a blinding flash,
he gave me the 3rd for the culture. Yeah. All right, you can end the set now.
Oh, but lucky number 4, but we've got our true punish.
Oh, hold on. Oh, I thought it was going to be nice for that.
One of the best players in the room, by the way. 2 of the best people in the room, excuse me. And OoDa is... Punish him for his sins, OoDa.
Many silly things are happening in this game.
OoDa is playing it genuinely.
Which is the most silly?
The weirdest.
Super solid TI on that.
The sourest of sweet spots. Or the sweetest of sour spots.
It took him about 6 of them, but he got it.
He gets away with it. The crowd boo.
Uproars of boos.
International criminal ZeeBee gets away with another one. And here we are. Gaming.
What can you do?
All right, that's OoDa.
Never let them know your next move.
That's